Yo, what's good, everyone? Welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to go in depth on the 8 biggest mistakes that I made during my derealization recovery. Okay, and if you guys don't know anything about my story, I had DPDR 24/7 every single day for nearly 4 years, and I made a full recovery. Now I help other people overcome it as well. And in this video specifically, I'm going to be showing you exactly the mistakes that I made during my recovery and the 8 biggest, most fatal mistakes that you can make during your DPDR recovery. And what I see so often as of recently is that you could think that you're doing every single thing right. Every single part of your process is perfect and every single thing is perfect to a T. But if you are making even one of these mistakes, one of these 8 things I'm going to show you, recovery is going to feel impossible. It's going to feel impossible. It's 99% of chance you can't recover if you're doing any of these things. Okay, so you need to make sure that all of these mistakes aren't being made, and your recovery will be guaranteed if everything else is correct, right? Because one of the biggest things that I made was I was locked in. I was doing every single thing right. I was in full alignment, and for some reason I couldn't recover because I was making multiple of these mistakes. Okay, and even if you're making one, it will hold you back. All right, so make sure you guys get through this video and you take notes on it so you understand what mistakes these are and why you can't make them. All right, let's get right into it. All right, everyone, welcome to the 8 fatal mistakes of recovery. I made this video for anyone who feels like they're doing every single thing right, like every single aspect of their journey is correct, but they still can't get there. Because if that's the case for you, chances are you're making one of these 8 fatal mistakes. And they're fatal because it really makes DPDR recovery and anxiety recovery nearly impossible. Like, it really can affect your journey. And for me, like, I thought I was doing every single thing perfect. You guys saw my story. Like, if you guys don't know my story, my last year of recovery, I was 90% recovered, and I spent that whole last year waking up at 4 a.m., going to the gym, eating right, doing everything, socializing, all these things, but I still couldn't break through because I was making more than one of these mistakes. And I'm saying even just one of these 8 fatal mistakes could be the factor that is limiting you from getting your life back. All right, and I made this video because I know there are so many of you guys who are on the brink of a breakthrough and you just don't know what that last outlier is. You don't know the mistake you're making. And I'd say about 80% of the calls I get on, people say they think they're doing every single thing right. They think they've been doing every single thing perfect. But if you were doing every single thing perfect, recovery wouldn't be in the future. You'd already have it, right? So this video, let's go into the 8 fatal mistakes and exactly what these are and how you can avoid them. Okay, let's start off with some of my clients. So my guy Almas first joined me. He had no idea that he was making any of these mistakes. Like, he truly thought he was doing every single thing perfect. And this is my fastest recovery, 11 freaking days. 11 days for a full recovery. Now, the reason he recovered so fast is because he was doing every single thing right, except for 2 of these fatal mistakes. All right, and I'm telling you, one of these things could be holding you back. My guy Kieran recovered in 43 days. This is one of my favorite recoveries just because of the transformation he made internally, mentally, and the mindset he's built. He was making over half of these mistakes, right? So these fatal mistakes, my guy Zach, 13-day full recovery. Again, he recovered so fast. Like, he was 99% recovered after the first few days because he realized that he was making these fatal mistakes. My girl Vivi, she has her life back. She went from literally not being able to leave her bed for months to fully going out because she was making these fatal mistakes very obviously to me, but she had no idea. She thought she was doing everything right. Mandaga, same thing with him. You know, he's living his life now. All my clients, this one story, like, you can see the before and afters of all these people. It's because there's so many blind spots that you don't actually see in your recovery journey. And even in my journey, I tried everything for so many years, you know, thinking I was doing everything right. Guys, it's really easy to listen to your ego. It's really easy to follow to your ego self and be like, okay, I'm doing every single thing right. I don't, you know, there's nothing I'm missing. And I told you guys, like, I woke up at 4 a.m. every single day with hope, but nothing changed, right? Like, I did everything. You guys think you can just lock in for recovery. There's so much more to it, and there's so many things you have to avoid. Like, there's things you have to take away from your life. It's not always like what you need to do. It's what you gotta stop doing, right? So I knew no one was coming to save me, and that only I could save myself. right? And the reason I figured out these 8 fatal mistakes is because I took one of the biggest analysis of my own life, and I realized, like, you can't just wait it out. Like I saw online, I read online, just live your life and it'll fade with time. That was the biggest lie, right? So if you guys aren't progressing, if you're not making progress, if you're not actually moving the needle towards your recovery every single day, you're not feeling better, chances are it's never going to work for you because you can't wait it out. Waiting it out is the biggest mistake you can make with your recovery. I made that mistake myself. Please, 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 please don't wait it out and change it now, right? This is your time. The first fatal mistake is looking for solutions. Looking for solutions, okay? If you guys are looking for a solution in any way, shape, or form, I say my content's the only content to watch at all for recovery. Why? Because I give you actionable steps. Looking for solutions is the worst possible thing you can do in order to get your life back. All right, I'll say it and I'll say it again. Any way of looking for solutions. It could be Googling online, it could be YouTube videos, it could be anything, all right? Like, mine is actionable steps, so it's a little bit different. But if you're like on Reddit, any Googling at all, medications, going to therapy, why is that bad? Because when you're looking for solutions, you're telling your subconscious mind, you're telling yourself, telling your nervous system, you're telling every part of you that you need to be fixed, that something is wrong with you. We don't want to be in the state of needing to be fixed. We want to genuinely be living by the end. We want to be in a state of already being fixed, okay? And if you're searching for solutions, if you're trying to fix yourself, you are actively telling yourself that something needs to be fixed. All right, does that make sense? We want to stop looking for solutions completely and entirely. Be already in the state of recovery, and all our actions reflect that truth. And like every single search, I'm telling you, every single search, make this the last time you ever search. Watch my videos, but nothing else, because they're going to have contradicting opinions. You're going to see people on Reddit after 20 years telling you can't recover. What changes isn't finding a different solution. The only thing that matters is action. That's it. Action is the only thing that matters. It literally is the only thing that matters. What you do every single day matters. Because you could tell yourself right now, you can desire anything, you can pray about it, you can talk about it, you can literally say, I want this so bad, but it's until you take the actionable steps that the change happens. You know, God completely changed my life because he led me to taking action. But it was the action that he made me do that changed it, not me sitting here thinking about it, right? The thinking leads to an action, but you can't think your way out of it, and you can't find a solution your way out of it. I was on Reddit forums, you know, what I saw last night after waking up in the middle of the night, DPDR trigger warning. Like, there's crazy things you see on Reddit. Please stay off these forums. They will keep you stuck in the cycle. So that's number one. That is number one. Please stop looking for solutions completely and entirely. It'll keep you stuck. Get off Reddit, especially. Get off freaking Reddit. Get off YouTube, even. Get off Instagram. If you guys are going to watch anything, watch me, all right? Because I'm going to give you actionable steps. But stop watching everyone else, all right? Next, now the biggest fatal mistake is people try to recover because they're trying to recover, right? They're trying to recover. Their goal is to recover. What you are doing is you're making this recovery about just recovery, which means you're thinking about something you don't want, right? What you think about becomes reflect in your own life, okay? And a lot of times people, they try to recover, and that's also putting them in a state of needing to be fixed. Again, we want to be in a state of already being fixed. But you need to make it about you and not the condition. You need to build your dream life, not the recovery's life, right? When you are doing it because of recovery and doing it because you hate the symptoms, you are actively telling yourself that something is wrong with you. Okay, so make it about you and not the condition. Again, we're done with the condition. All my clients, when they join, again, they're paying me for recovery, right? But I tell them, I'm no longer your DPDR coach. I'm your highest self coach, and recovery comes as a byproduct of that. You need to make it about you and not the condition. What do you want for your life, and what does your highest self want? Don't try to recover. Do these things because that's who you are. Don't eat healthy to lose weight. Do it because you are someone who's in good shape. Do it because that's your identity and wake up like it. It's like the runner always The person who loves running always runs farther, right? It's always the version of yourself that loves taking the actionable steps that will continue to win, continue to get their life back fast. This goes for all aspects of life, but especially in DPDR recovery. This is how you build your dream life, okay? So, I think I'm gonna go with blue. Yeah. Boom. So, anything you can imagine. So, anything you can conceive and believe, you can achieve, right? So, this was my dream life, you could say. I'm not this specifically, but like what got me to recover was chasing my dream life. It's the actionable steps in chasing your higher self that gets you out. You look at this is like an example of like something you can imagine as your higher self, right? Who's your dream wife? What does your house look like? Where do you live? What is the best version of you look like? My dream is always to be in Miami. All these things. It's not about being your higher self. It's never about being the higher self because you're never going to reach your higher self. But it's actively chasing that person, and it's the pursuit of happiness. I mean, it's that happiness within the pursuit of chasing it rather than the pursuit of happiness. We're not chasing the outcome, but loving the process of chasing the outcome. And what I say to so many people is like, I'm going to die satisfied with feeling unsatisfied because the ecstasy, the joy is always in the chase. When you are chasing a girl, that chasing feeling, or not chase, like never chase a woman or anything, but like at the end of the day, when you're chased, when it's like that beginning of a relationship and you're like still in the process of it, that's where the most joy is because it's the unknown, it's the uncertainty. You guys need to love the process every single day of chasing your higher self. Write down, like if you haven't done this yet, write down every single solitary thing your higher self does. How does this person talk, walk, act, move? What does this person speak like? Every single part of this person, write it down. And then write down every single thing that's stopping you from becoming this person and every single thing you need to do to become this person. And what will happen is you make it inevitable that you become that person. And what I say is like, love everything you do. I got in the best shape of my life a few months ago. You guys know me, I'm doing 100 days transcendence. I'm going to be even looking 10 times better than this in the next few months. But the reason I got here wasn't because I just wanted to be in shape. I love the gym so much that I would have done it if, I would have gone to the gym even if I never got in shape from it just because what it did for me mentally. So you need to love the day to day. Do it, make it about you and not the condition, bro. Not the condition, about you, okay? Moving forward. Your social media feed, all right? Your social media feed is the third thing that is the third fatal mistake in general, all right? The content you consume is programming you at all times, all right? It doesn't matter what you think is going on. It doesn't matter what you want out of it. If you engage in it, you're going to get more of it, okay? So what you engage in and what you consume is going to go into your subconscious mind. It's going to start to shape your beliefs, and your beliefs will shape your reality, okay? Your environment. There's something called subconscious reprogramming, and essentially every single thing that's happened to you since the day you were born has programmed you to believe what you believe in now. All right, whether you like it or not, when you were 3 years old, every conversation you've ever heard has gone into your subconscious. Every single thing in your environment, every single people you surround yourself with, all the content you consume, the music you listen to, every single thing matters, okay? Now, when you feed yourself with social media that is negative, you are literally damaging your subconscious mind. You are not living by your identity. So we need to have our social media feed to be super aligned with our higher self. Super aligned with our higher self. And when I say this, like, it's so important. And it kind of goes into number one when I was talking about looking for solutions, because if you still have DPDR, things on your feed or anxiety things, again, besides me because my content's actionable, but in general, if you have normal DPDR things on your feed, it's going to flood your mind with that negative input, right? And your brain's job is to perceive and process the information you give it. And if the only information it's working with is negative anxiety, videos, or even just brain rot shit, it's going to make do with what it has, and it's going to shape your life based off of those things. But the good news is like, even if you had bad social media feed, is you can flood your brain with so much positive input that it's forced to adhere to the fact that you're the new identity, right? You can flood it with new input, and it can make do with that input. So start now. It's like The same thing with subconscious reprogramming in the past can go within the future, but you can be intentional about it now. It's like if you're an introvert or an extrovert, that's not actually who you are. You're not born that way. It's not genetic. It's based off of your experiences in the past. Maybe if your whole entire family have always been introverts and you say it's genetic, it's because you were born with that predisposed like thing about who you are. But you can change that in the future. It's all based off of like your last 500 conversations. You go out and talk to people, you're going to have a new identity of a social person. If you're in a state of fear, if you're in a state of worry, all these things in your whole entire For You page is like, let's say like Charlie Kirk, all these negative things that are happening in the world. You have DPDR things on there, anxiety, you're always looking for solutions. You're going to constantly tell yourself something is wrong with me. I need to be fixed. You're flooding your mind with this negative input. It's going to then reflect what is going into your brain. Like the world is a mirror from your internal state. It's going to start to reflect your thoughts. Those thoughts are going to be mirrored out, and your life is going to continue to throw you things that you don't want. All right, so you change those things to motivational things. This is what I do with every single solitary one of my clients is I give them the full For You page curated content. So hundreds of positive recovery content when it comes to, being your higher self. Every single thing has to be aligned with what you want. Now, I think it's really good to have all motivational things, but let's say your higher self is like a singer. Flooded with singing videos. I mean, my client Timo is a DJ. He has like a bunch of cool DJing, like kind of party videos, but they aren't like low frequency shit. It's like high frequency up to his higher self. You want to align yourself with the best version of you. For me, that was gym content. That was motivational content. Content that made me super thankful for my life and gave me a lot of gratitude. If you look at any single part of my transformation, it was all when I went into controlling the controllables that changed everything for me, right? This version of myself, this is the day I recovered. This version came from all these little factors being changed, all right? So the content you're consuming. You could be doing every single thing right, but consuming the wrong content, and you're still going to be in this state, all right? Next is you are too comfortable. You're too comfortable. You're in a state to where you're comfortable in the DPDR cycle. Guys, you guys want to know a story from me? I used to be the most comfortable person in my life. Most comfortable person. And what happened was, when I had DPDR, when I was still smoking weed in it, or when I was still giving it devices, when I was still sleeping in, when I was still eating like shit, that comfort, what happens when you're so comfortable for too long, is that comfort turns into extreme discomfort. And it's actually more uncomfortable than just purposely being uncomfortable to start out with. I'll say that again. Like, if you guys are too comfortable and you stay in DPDR for too long, that actually starts to become more uncomfortable than just changing, than just leveling up your life now, than just deciding to go through what you're avoiding, right? So you have to make the decision. Like, do you want to purposely be uncomfortable now for a life of fulfillment, for a life to where you can feel like you are living life to the fullest, you can be in the present, you can feel emotions, whatever you want out of life? Do you want to feel uncomfortable to enjoy those things? Or do you want to get temporary pleasure right now, doing things that aren't going to make you fulfilled and joyful, but maybe temporarily happy or feel good, to live a life of misery? Like, are you going to go choose the short-term pleasure so you can live a life of DPDR? No one wants that, right? So what you have to understand is this is your comfort zone, and this is where the magic happens. It's outside of your comfort zone. And what happened for me was, this is something I was doing right. Like when I was waking up early every single day, locked in, changing my life, doing fitness coaching, but still had DPDR, this was one of the things that I was doing extremely right, is I was going out of my comfort zone. Some things you can do for that is to really set the tone early in the morning. Because when you first wake up in the morning, that is when your subconscious mind is most susceptible to every single solitary action that you take. And if you wake up in the morning and you instantly program it a way that isn't aligned with the best version of you, in a way that isn't going through discomfort, the whole entire day is going to be like that. You're never actually going to get pushed past your edge to get out of your comfort zone. What I do is I start off my day with a morning routine. I wake up an uncomfortably early time. I do push-ups, I make my bed, and I take a cold shower. And every single time I get in the cold shower, it's not for the health benefits, but it's because I go against what my rational mind is telling me is okay and what's normal. I'm going against into the freezing cold water. It's the last thing I want to do. But going in that discomfort is where the growth happens is. And when you set that tone every single day for weeks straight, months straight, this sets a new identity. There's something called autosuggestion, which is how your subconscious mind assumes who you are based off of all the actions you take. And when you build that every single morning, it forces you to find your purpose. Guys, your purpose is found when you're pushing past your edge. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you can do something that is uncomfortable, that you don't want to do every single day, God will lead you to your purpose. God will lead you to purpose. It's like you can have all the windows open. He could have every single, entry point open with you. But if you don't take a step in the unknown, if you don't go out of your comfort zone and trust that he's leading you, the result won't come. So what happens is you can pray about it all you want, but he's only going to answer that if you do the action that's towards that. You need to take steps in the unknown. Set new goals, conquer objectives. Say, hey, what can I do today to get out of my comfort zone every single day and get 1% better? Every single day, if you get 1% better, that's 37 times better in a year. It is compounding on top of each other. Slow motion is better than no motion. If you can walk in the slightest bit, you will start stacking bricks to a whole new foundation. But it's like you could have all the materials you need to build a house. If you don't start building, nothing's going to change. What happens is this will start to change your life. This was me. And this was also me when I was in my comfort zone. There was nothing. My spirit was disconnected from God entirely. And the ambitious boy that I was as a kid started to slowly fade, right? So what happened was, in order for me to get to here, to that jacked person you saw, I had to go out of my comfort zone. And what happened was I proved that I was recovered, right? Because your nervous system does not give a shit about what you want or what you think about. It does care about what you think about, but your thoughts reflect your actions, right? So it only cares about your actions at the end of the day. You need to move like you are that new recovered identity, right? So that's the next one. You want to really, really look at yourself and be like, am I just too comfortable? Get out of your fucking comfort zone. All right, let's move on to number 5. Number 5 is substances. Substances. Boom. If you are taking any substance at all right now, fix that shit immediately, okay? Let's start off with alcohol. Alcohol is not good when you're trying to recover. If you guys want to introduce it back into your life after, that's okay. But what you have to understand is, like, this will hold you back. This will hold you back from recovery. There's so many reasons why. Giving you a few. The hangover the next day. It's really inconsistent to your nervous system. It's inconsistent. We want consistency with how we feel. That's not good. Number 2 is it's chemically imbalancing your brain. Like, you're going to feel different mentally, and you're going to confuse it for DPDR. It's messing with your cortisol levels, all of that. We don't want to use it as an escape at all. If you're ever, like, drinking, you might be able to get away with one drink or another while you're recovering. But why would you even want to do that, right? It's not aligned with your higher self at all whatsoever. So why would you even participate in that? There's no point, right? If it's not aligned with the best version of you, cut that shit out. Just cut it out. One of the biggest problems is if you're watching this right now and you know that you consistently drink, you know that you consistently give into these vices, ask yourself why. Why? Why do you need to? Is it necessary, or do you just feel like pressured, right? Because at the end of the day, you gripping onto that old identity, you holding so tight to the old version of yourself is what is stopping you from being able to step into the new recovered, better, higher self of you. Okay? And that's the biggest mistake that I made. I had this biggest relationship to the partying scene and all these vices and the weed and the drugs, all these things, and I had such a strong connection to them. Like, I remember I'd play certain songs, and it was just, I had friends that would all do this. And what happened was, those friends were all attached to these vices, right? And in order for me to move on from that identity, I had to leave those friends. But that's what I had to do in order to step into the recovered identity of myself. So ask yourself, do my friends just want to smoke or drink? Or are they actually my friends? And if they are actually your friends, great. But if they only do that, like you for that, then you gotta, now you gotta look at yourself and, change what matters, right? Because your environment is going to change. Now, stimulants. Cut out all stimulants. This means coffee and Adderall and all stimulants. I was taking all these things when I had ADHD, and sure, this actually helped me while I was on it, but made it so much worse when I was off it. And this is one of the worst things you can do. Even if you feel like it's making you better, cut out all stimulants because they'll lie to you. They'll tell you that it's making you better. They'll tell you that they're actually giving you energy. You might feel extreme fatigue with DPDR, and then you might use these as a crutch to get past that fatigue, saying that you need it. Cut it all out, okay? All out. Go zero stimulants at all whatsoever, okay? So no medication. I mean, here's the thing. If you are prescribed for, like, let's say, for like an antidepressant or something, it's not going to stop you from recovering. Okay, I'm not going to tell you to stop. I can't give you that medical advice, but what I can say is it's a band-aid to the problem, and it's not actually going to be the solution for you because it's band-aiding it. And like at the end of the day, I just recommend if you haven't started, don't do it. Fix it, the actual problem, so you never have to deal with DPDR again. Last thing you want is to fall back into it because you don't know actually how to recover and you don't know what you did to recover, right? So cut this all out. This is something I had to do as well. I've used these things, all of that. I had to stop doing it completely. Next, all cigarettes, all vaping, no nicotine at all. Again, it's a stimulant. It's spiking your nervous system, spiking your cortisol, all of that. They all count. All of it counts. The next fatal mistake so many people make is not giving 110% effort. Again, if you feel like you want to do everything right but cheat it out, still drink a little bit, still do things, that's not your 110% effort. You don't want it bad enough. But there is a problem with only giving 110% effort and feeling like it's all that matters is effort, because all that matters is not just effort. It's mentally detaching from the outcome as well. So you need to give 110% effort with your inputs. Every single action you take on a daily basis has to be all in. Every single thing you got, everything you got, right? But you have to have zero expectation on the end result of your inputs. Meaning, I told you guys to love the process, love what you do, and do it because you want to do it. Don't do your routine because it's getting you recovered. Just do it because you want to. What happens is you can do that with all your effort and then not have to expect anything out of it. That's when things come to you in life, right? So you need to do your non-negotiables. Again, the biggest thing with recovery is creating non-negotiables that you stick to every single day. Creating something to where you can stick to your word and you can stick to your promises. And when you do that, you create this sense of confidence within yourself. Now, when you have that routine built, don't be analyzing and seeing how you feel all day. Just give that routine your 110% effort because you genuinely love pushing yourself and seeing how far you can go every single day. When I was waking up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. every single day, this wasn't because I felt like I did it so I could recover. I wasn't like, oh, I have to wake up early to recover. I don't tell any of my clients to wake up this early, right? But I felt like I was so obsessed with being the greatest, highest version of myself that I didn't have a choice because I was so excited to get up early. Sure, the alarm would hit, and I would literally be feeling horrible. My mind would be racing. I'd be negative in the morning. It would be, the blanket was warm. I'd be having a good dream. All of those things you could say early in the morning, but I'd still crave the feeling after I conquer the morning, so I stuck to that. That's what made me feel like my highest self. But what you have to understand is effort isn't everything, but you need to have all the effort with no expectation on the outcome, because effort within itself won't get you there. You need effort, but mentally be detached, meaning you love what you do every day and you're not doing it just to recover, right? And what I tell every single one of my clients, the reason my program is so good and the reason it works so well is because they can all detach from the outcome because they know that their action plan is 100% guaranteed to get them recovered, no question at all. I have a 100% success rate, everything's guaranteed, so they know that if they can stick to it, it's 100% guaranteed to work. And in doing so, they can stop checking how they feel because they know it's inevitable. You need to create a process to where you know it's inevitable because you are sure that it's aligned with the greatest version of you. And if you don't know what's aligned with the greatest version of you, sit down and write down what do you desire in this life, because that's the greatest version of you. Now do things that will get you there and love it. The seventh fatal mistake so many people make is their self-talk. Their inner voice. How they talk to themselves every single day. Guys, we have two versions of ourselves. We have the version of yourself that you think you are, the version of yourself that you think you're currently at, the person you think you are today. And then you got your higher self, the version of you that you know you could be, the person you can conceive and believe, right? You can make two choices. You can either make a choice based off of who you think you are now, continuing to live that as that identity, or you can live as your higher self. And what will happen is throughout the process of recovery, throughout the up and slopes, you guys know recovery isn't linear. You're going to have bad days. Throughout those rough days, you will be tested to see if you're still that ego self or if you moved on to your higher self. And you have to go and choose to be this higher self at all times. You have to choose to step into the greatest version of you. You have to choose, regardless how you feel, to have your actions reflect that person. Because if your actions can reflect this person and the version that you want to become, it is so inevitable that you get there. It doesn't matter where you are in life. If you want to be a millionaire, you want to have. I know that I'm knowing that this is going to work because every single point I've gotten to in life has been from doing this. Okay, not that I've accomplished so much, but I've heard so many people apply this same process. Well, things even past DPDR recovery, right? Anything in life. You need to embody being that person before you can actually be that person. So think about it. Don't just think about the recovered version of yourself, because a lot of you guys think your higher self is the old version of you, but that was the old version of you that fell into the version of you that you are now. We need to be someone that is so solid and so amazing with who they are that they can't ever fall back into that. And that version of yourself is with everything that you want out of life, okay? Think about everything you want. Do you want to be dating this person? Do you want to look as this certain way? Do you want to weigh this much? Have this physique? Anything you want out of life, continue to show up like that because you will be tested. But if you choose to show up, even when you feel like shit, that's how you pass the test, and that's how you get to the next level. Like when you feel like shit and when you are tested, when you have a really, really bad day, that is God asking you, saying, hey, do you want to take it to the next level? Do you want to level up? And you have a choice in that moment. And if you choose to show up as the recovered, highest version of yourself, the best version of you, it's guaranteed that you take that step to that breakthrough and that next level. And if you continue to sit in your head and live in your head, telling yourself things that you don't want out of life, you will continue to have that reflected back to you. Again, guys, I said this earlier, but the world is a mirror, and it's reflecting how you think. All right, every single thought is being reflected from the mirror. It's like literally boomeranged right back to you. And what you need to do is not control every single thought. That's impossible. You can't not think about a thought, but what you can do is you can introduce new thoughts. And what I said earlier was like flood your brain with so much positive input that it's forced to listen to that input and to shape your life due to that input, right? And if you flood yourself with so much positive input, meaning every single thing you do is up to a standard of excellence, every single piece of content you consume is highest frequency, all your relationships are up to highest frequency, there isn't room for negative bullshit. And if you get a negative thought that comes up, it's going to be pushed out so fast because you're going to have so much high frequency things to engage in, right? So flood your brain. Number 8 is aligning with your higher self. You guys really fail to know who this person is. And I told you guys earlier, if you haven't done this yet, take time to do this now. Ask yourself right now, what does your higher self look like? Okay, describe every single detail. Okay, write down every single thing that is stopping you from getting there. Every single thing that's stopping you. This could be relationships you have. This could be messy room. This could be not getting enough sleep. This could be not eating right. This could be skipping the gym. You know what's not aligned with your higher self. And if you don't, it's because you don't know who your higher self looks like. And again, your higher self is anything that you can conceive and desire, right? That desire isn't there for no reason. Therefore, that's your higher self. And then next is write down everything you must do to get there, meaning every single thing, because your lifestyle never exceeds your level of personal development, and you never actually rise to your ambitions, but you follow your systems. So if you have systems every single day, things that guarantee that you get there, it doesn't matter where you think you are in life, you are guaranteed to get to where you want to go because of your systems. So fall to a system that is guaranteed to get you to the point in life that you want to be at, because it doesn't matter about what you want every single day, it's what you're doing every single day. And if the actions you're taking are guaranteed to get you there, boom, you're good. For example, say my goal right now is to get in the best shape of my life. I'm going to lose 20 pounds and I want to build muscle while doing so. Okay? What am I going to do? I'm going to create a system that's guaranteed to get there. Every single day, I have to eat X amount of calories. I have to eat in a calorie deficit. I'll put it on a weight loss tracker. I'll know that if I can eat this amount of calories every single day, hit this much protein, show up to the gym this many days a week, I'm guaranteed to weigh this exact weight and look this certain way, gain muscle by the time of this date. Therefore, all I have to do is detach from the outcome, detach from needing anything, but just do the work every day and I'm guaranteed to get there. That's where it comes, right? Does that make sense, guys? Please understand this concept, because if you don't, you won't move on. You have to understand that systems get you there, not the outcome. And that's how I got to where I am today. You know, happy, living my life, the greatest version of myself. I even went to, concerts, music festivals. I'm going to another music festival at the end of this month in Miami, right? Doing a bunch of fun things because that's aligned with my higher self. Guys, your higher self is different for everyone, right? You guys see me and I eat really healthy. I wake up early. I'm super locked in right now because this is a phase of my life to where I'm locked in. But in general, like, I still think my higher self goes out and has fun. You guys, my guy Timo, he's literally a DJ, and he recovered when he finally started to step into the version of himself that started the DJ again. He stopped doing it because of DPDR. And again, what did that do? It reflected the fact that he wasn't where he needed to be. So what did he do to get there? He lived like he was already there, and boom, literally after the first DJing session, fully recovered. It was the best thing ever. I got him on video. If you look at my page, it's the coolest thing ever. But this got him to his higher self. So your higher self might be a singer, an actor. If you're working a job you hate, that might not be aligned with your higher self. Figure it out. What can you do to fix your situation, right? Everyone's higher self looks different, and it's up to you to find yours. That being said, guys, like, we're all in this together, guys. If you guys really want to step into your higher self and you feel like you've done all these things correct and you don't know what's missing, there's always something that is missing. There is always a missing outlier that's stopping you from being to where you want to be. And if you want to get there within weeks, like literally weeks and you're fully recovered, give me a DM on Instagram. First link in the description. Just DM me the word like freedom or say I need help. Let's get to it. We'll get you started. But with that, if you're a good fit, we'll get you started. But with that being said, guys, you guys are all here for a reason. You all have your higher self. You all have your own God-given gifts, credo, whatever you're put on earth for, and it's for you to find that. If you can find that, and if you can love chasing it, DPDR won't have room to exist. So with that being said, guys, stay embodying your higher self. Stay winning. Let's get it. I'm Nick Dorenzo. If you guys never found my account before, and I'm here for every single one of you guys. We're all winning together. We're all recovering together. Let's get it, guys. Kill the day.